Our nation's Education Secretary, Arne Duncan, called the cause of public education the civil rights issue of our time. And specifically, he said we must make Hispanic educational excellence a national priority.
I say the reason why we have to be concerned about the achievement gaps between minorities, all different minorities, and white students is because our nation is changing very, very much. And so within the next generation, the majority of students will be minority students.
The children that are in school today in our nation will be the first generation of Americans to be less well educated than their parents were, for the first time in the history of our country.
We know that we are all different people, yet why, when it comes to education, do we try and put everybody, we were all square holes fitting into square pegs? It just doesn't work that way.
The community as a whole needs to take on the issue, whether you frame it as low graduation rates or high dropout rates or some other aspect of the education crisis. The community as a whole needs to take that on as their issue. It can't be seen as a school's issue alone.
The reason why groups like HCREO and Students First and Step Up for Students, the reason why those groups are so incredibly important is because when parents and students expect more, then you hold us as elected officials to do more.
I've had a chance to see this both as an advocate, as a policy person, and as a state education leader. At the end of the day, I say it comes down to the decisions that adults make. I've said once in public before that we don't have an achievement gap problem, we have a political crap problem.
What we wanted to do is, as an advocacy and as a membership organization, we wanted to mobilize people to become politically active and vocal around the issues that we knew needed significant changes, and where having the voices of teachers and parents engaged in this effort would really make a difference. One of the biggest challenges that we face right now in this nation is the fact that there is a monolithic teacher voice out there. When I go out and talk to teachers across the country, they know that the system is broken. They know that change needs to happen.
When we mention option and choice, people automatically think private school sector alone, when in fact we've had public school options for decades in the United States. Magnet schools, inter-district choice, intra-district choice. So the idea of options and choice is a centuries-old debate in the United States. It only becomes more political when the color of those looking for a change.
There are a host of barriers, including misalignment between the K-12 system and the post-secondary system on educational expectations that really have to be addressed if we want to see people get the credentials they need to have a family supporting wage in this economy.
The most telling that we've done, and this is through the help of Students First and some of the other scholarship organizations, of empowering students, not just those of means, but particularly those that are of a lower economic status, giving those students and those families the same tools that those families that have money, giving them the same tools and saying, you know, that it's in the interest of the state of Florida to have an educated workforce, and we're not going to condemn a child or a family to a subpar education because they can't afford something that's better. So one of the things that we've really done in the state of Florida is to say that for those families that need financial assistance, we're going to go and work not just through the government but through the private sector as well, and the private sector is going to put money behind that.
I'm a rising senior at Archbishop Curley Senior High School in Miami, which I've been attending since my freshman year. I have been able to go there because of the Step Up for Students scholarship program, which helps families like mine choose to where they want to send their children to school. Just this past year, nearly 34,000 low-income students were given the equal opportunity as I did, and I believe I speak for each and every one of them when I say that the experience is life-changing.
In school and doesn't appreciate the fact that what works for one child does not work for another. And too many children have been pushed off the assembly line and needs haven't been met because we haven't been sensitive to the fact that just because a school works for one child doesn't mean it's going to work for every child.
Parental choice is important because I strongly believe that it is a catalyst to help all other reform measures work better. And I hope you stay for the entire event today because you'll hear Michelle Reed talk about some of the things that she did in the Washington, D.C. school district to try to create more excellence. And it all operates around ideas in the area of human capital. And what I mean by that is trying to help teachers be better, or if they can't get better, trying to help them, encouraging them to maybe find a different profession, changing what the work rules to help things get better as opposed to staying the same. And believe it or not, this is actually very, very hard to do in some places in the public school system. And so parental choice, and this is, I hope you can remember this, one thing today, parental choice is the catalyst that makes all of reforms work better and faster.